Lille against Chelsea in the second round of the Champions League group stages, as the Blues go into an absolute must-win game to keep their chances of topping the group alive. Plus the question, has N'Golo Kanté turned into an injury-prone player, or has he simply been unlucky at the start of the season? And will any or both of HUDSON-ODOI and Reece James start? I think one of them might. Hello there guys, and welcome back to Blues TV for another preview of mine on this channel as we head into the second round of the UEFA Champions League group stages as we take on Lille, LOSC, Lille, or OSC, Lille, whichever one it is. Very confusing, even on Google. Even Google isn't particularly helpful. But yeah, we go into that away from home in France, and I'm very excited for it. It is the second, like I said, the second round of the Champions League group stages, and, we're always excited about the Champions League. Of course, the first round didn't go particularly well with that 1-0 defeat to Valencia. Both unfortunate, as well as, just the poor performance overall. Some strange decisions by both Frank Lampard and then obviously the penalty by Barkley and all of those kind of things was a bit strange. So this game is an absolute must-win game. Of course, this is, my preview, like I said. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to Blues TV. That will be massively appreciated. Sammy and Sophie will be out there as well. There are a couple of others, that we're good friends with out there in Lille as well, which obviously, means there will be content from Lille, which I hope you will be looking forward to. So if you fancy any of that, please be sure to subscribe. Like I said, make sure you smash the notification bell button so you get notifications whenever we do upload a video. And of course, also smash that like button. That would be massively appreciated, especially by myself. And, you're here already. You might as well just go down below, smash the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. Barely cost you any time as well. So please just go down below and smash the like button. That would just be absolutely class. But now, let's get into the preview and starting it off by speaking about our opposition. And that, of course, is Lille. And, of course, French team. They compete in Ligue 1, where they currently sit in 4th with 14 points from 8 games, with 4 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses. And 4 points behind league leaders, of course, PSG, who have already suffered 2 defeats this season as well, which isn't exactly, the standard, I guess, to have 2 defeats for PSG in 8 games already. Well, last season, actually, Lille came second. They finished the league campaign in second, slightly surprisingly, to be honest. Although they did also still finish, 16 points behind PSG. So, you have to still take that into account. Of course, this summer they also lost their star man Nicolas Pepe to Arsenal. We all know that, and also suffered quite a heavy defeat, opening day defeat in the Champions League as they lost 3-0 away at Ajax. So things aren't all perfect there, but still their September form, as you can see on screen, isn't awful. It's not ideal. Of course, there's that 3-0 against Ajax in there, and losing to Rennes isn't exactly great either. But they did beat Angers, who are currently second in Ligue 1, so it's not been going awfully badly for them. Formation-wise, they seem to kind of have 2 formations that they use quite frequently, and those are the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-4-2, and it will most certainly be interesting to see what they go for against us, or will it even be a third one, like a completely different one, 5 at the back or whatever. We'll have to wait and see. And their style of play, at least from the research that I, managed to do, which wasn't as much as usual, I will have to admit, because I was just very, very busy today, sure seems to depend quite heavily on their opponent, both in terms of possession and whether they play more direct or a bit, tend to use a bit more of a slower build-up, I guess. Just when you have more possession, you're usually not as direct. Well, one of the very few examples of that is Liverpool, or counter examples of that, I guess, are Liverpool, that even when they have loads of the ball, they are always very direct. We do it a bit more now than we did last season under Maurizio Sarri, but still, it does seem to depend quite heavily on the opponent for Lille anyway. And while their home record, to be fair, is quite good, having won all 4 games at home so far, seeing how Ajax dominated them, you just have to go into that game expecting Chelsea to enjoy the majority of possession and likely also the chances and, obviously clearly be the favourite. I mean, we're pot 1, yes, only through winning the Europa League, but nonetheless, pot 1, and Lille are the team from pot 4, so it has to be the case. And as for interesting players, less danger men, they do have quite a few nonetheless. I mean, of course, like I said, they lost Pepe, but their new striker, Victor Osimhen, not 100% sure on the pronunciation, I do apologise, has been doing really well so far with 6 goals and 2 assists in the league so far this season, which of course is great. Winger Jonathan Ikone, again, not 100% sure on the pronunciation, is also a very good player. Not to underestimate at all, as is Renato Sanchez, who of course Lille signed from Bayern Munich this summer. Yes, his career hasn't gone to plan, of course. Bayern signed him from Benfica after the Euros in 2016. Then he went to Swansea, where he was awful. Came back to Bayern, played a little bit, but never as a regular starter. But he is a good player regardless. Like you can never doubt that and debate that, I guess. And the last thing I should mention, I guess, is also that former Chelsea striker Loic Remy plays for Lille as well. Only 1 goal in 4 appearances so far this season, but nonetheless, he still plays there, so I had to mention it. And we had good memories with him. Bar his injuries, we had some decent times, you know, especially in that title-winning 14-15 season. He came off the bench to score quite a couple of crucial goals. And so, you know, fair play to him. And, you know, I hope he's doing badly against us, obviously, if he does play. But other than that, I wish him well, of course. But, you know, like I said earlier already, even though Lille are that pot 4 team in our group, we shouldn't underestimate them in the slightest, like at all. You know, you can't underestimate anyone. It's the Champions League. It's an away game. They have good, you know, home form. And it will be difficult. I expect it to be difficult, but still, we are the favourites, and we have to win this game to still stand any chance of topping the group, in my opinion. So we have to go into it expecting the win from ourselves. Like, the team has to go into it with that expectation, and so do the fans, in my opinion. But to be honest, that was really it about Lille. And now getting into the press conference by Frank Lampard. Or am I? Because the press conference today only is taking place at 5:15 p.m. UK time, meaning if I had waited for that to take place, basically, the video would have been out way too late, past like 9 p.m. or so UK time, simply because, you know, recording and editing these and uploading them takes quite a while. But still, I do have a couple of kind of injury updates for you right now. But, you know, regardless, if you want to know what exactly was said and is said in the press conference, just make sure that you follow both myself and the channel on Twitter. The links to both of them are down in the description below. And, you know, we will inform you about everything that you need to know about the press conference, really. So just head down below and click the link down there and follow us. Last 1507, you can see it on screen as well. That would be good. And now, just coming to that bit of injury news that I can tell you right now, is that after Saturday's game against Brighton, of course, Lampard did say that N'Golo Kante could well be fit to play against Lille, and that the Frenchman did also train with the rest of the team today. You know, we did see that from kind of, well, it was an open training session the day before, you know, Champions League game, as it always is, and N'Golo Kante took full part of that training session. So there is a good chance, or there is a chance that he will play, possibly start on the bench. We'll have to wait and see, and I will, of course, talk about that in a minute. The same also goes for Kurt Zouma, who, of course, wasn't involved on Saturday due to illness that he picked up, well, that he woke up with, I guess, Saturday morning. He is fine now, and he is in full training. Also, the same goes for Olivier Giroud, although he was already fine on the weekend, still did make the squad, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there tomorrow. Well, of course, Emerson, Loftus-Cheek, and also Rudiger are still out injured. But now, as that is really it with the injury news that I have for you right now, let's get into Chelsea. And, you know, talking about how I think we should and how I think we will both line up and play against Lille tomorrow evening, because, as I said a couple of times already now, it is such an important game. And unless this is the first video of mine that you've ever watched, you know what I'm going to say now. And I'm going to say we have to play in a 4-3-3 formation. There's not even two questions about it. Leave me alone with a 4-2-3-1. Leave me alone with a 3-4-3. Go 4-3-3 and we'll be all right, in my opinion. So, of course, Kepa has to be, you know, the goalkeeper. There's no two questions about that one either. And as for the centre-backs, personally, I would go with the same two as the started on the weekend in Tomori and Christensen, unless the knee injury that he picked up against Liverpool is still bothering Christensen a bit, who possibly wouldn't even have started had Kazuma not been ill on Saturday morning. So if the knee injury is still a bit of a problem for Christensen, then just go with Zouma. I think that should be fine against Lille. As for the fullbacks, Alonso, of course, has to be at left back. You know, there's no two questions about it. And, you know, to be fair, he's done all right recently, so I'm not even too mad about that. And on the right, to be honest, personally, I still think it's going to be Cesar Azpilicueta. I don't think Reece James will start this one. I mean, there is a chance he starts, but personally, I think starting him against Southampton on Sunday in the league, it just makes a little bit more sense. I mean, he's only played one game since the long-term injuries. You know, the game against Grimsby was his first real game, his first 90 minutes as well, in over 5 months. So I'm not sure whether giving him his Champions League debut in a game that we simply have to win, in an away game that we simply have to win, is the best idea. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if he did start, but I don't think it will be the best idea, especially going to full 90, and you don't really want to waste a substitution on the right back, which we will get to in a little bit as well. But, you know, hence why I will still go for Alonso and Azpilicueta to do fullbacks. But, you know, Reece James, I would certainly start him against Southampton on Sunday. Then in midfield, of course, Jorginho will and should start, one of our best players, and an unbelievable performance against Brighton. And next to him, personally, I actually wouldn't start N'Golo Kante, even if he is fine. Because, yes, maybe I'm slightly overconfident, I guess, but I don't think we need Kante against Lille. And I can't be asked with his constant injuries anymore. Like, rest him for a little longer, possibly even for Southampton, and then have him back in full flow and at full strength after an international break, which, of course, is coming up after the game on the weekend. So, personally, ahead of Jorginho to his right, I would go with Mateo Kovacic, and then Mason Mount on the left of the three. Please no Ross Barkley. You know, Mason Mount played there on the weekend against Brighton as well. I thought he had a good performance. I think he can be slightly more influential there. Maybe not on goal, but generally he can use his abilities slightly bit more than he can on the wing, in my opinion. So that would be my midfield three of Jorginho, Kovacic and Mount. Of course, I wouldn't hate, you know, Lampard for it. I wouldn't hate it if N'Golo Kante started, but just to be safe, with how many times he's had small niggles now that kept him out of games, just be safe. I'd rather be safe than sorry, to be honest. And then coming to the wingers, I'm everything but sure about whether HUDSON-ODOI will actually start, but personally, I would go for it. I would start him. I mean, he played 20 minutes or so against Brighton, so I think he should probably be fine to play 50 or 60 minutes, tomorrow. So I think that would be fine. And I would just start him and not Reece James simply because it's an attacking position. And, like I said earlier, you don't want to waste one of your three substitutions on the right back. And that's the main reason why I would, be very happy to start HUDSON-ODOI, but not so much Reece James, even though, I don't see much of a difference between their ability or even importance to the team. If anything, I actually believe that Reece James might be slightly more important to us. And then on the other side, I mean, it kind of has to be Willian, in my opinion. I mean, I would say Christian Pulisic, but I don't see that happening. I just don't see it. Plus, as seen against Valencia, Lampard doesn't actually rotate all that much all the time. A lot of people criticize Mauricio Sarri for it, but Lampard barely at all, rotated against Valencia. So I don't think we should expect a lot of rotation tomorrow, even though, some people might say, we should. But then again, we only have one more game and then it's international break. The likes of William Pedro on with the national teams anyway. So I think we should be fine. And then up front, personally, I would stick with Tammy Abraham, in all honesty. I mean, or Batshuayi, I'd be fine with that. But like I said, with the rotation thing versus Valencia, I believe Tammy starting is also more likely than Batshuayi or Olivier Giroud starting. I wouldn't be that happy if Giroud started, but if Batshuayi started, I would be okay. But still, I would just go for Tammy Abraham in the end. And then play-wise, how we build it up and everything. To be honest, it's the same as ever, really. Make sure we move well. That's the most important thing, because sometimes we really struggle with that, whether it was Liverpool, even against Grimsby, at times against Brighton. We really struggle with that. So make sure we move well. Pass it quickly, but precisely. There's no point pinning the ball around really quickly, but then constantly losing it and passing it to the opposition. But also don't be too slow just for the sake of being precise. It has to be the combination of the two, and we have a good enough team to do that. So we have to do that. And I'm confident that if we do all of those things, move well and pass the ball quickly and precisely, we will create chances. I mean, that's a simple fact. But we do still need to be a bit more clinical than we have been in the last 3 games, because it has been a little bit of an issue in those. Even if we managed to beat Grimsby comfortably, and even if we did beat Brighton in the end quite comfortably, we still could have scored way, way, way more goals in all of those games, and against Liverpool all the same. Plus, we have to apply that counter press. It is important. In such an away game against a team like Lille, it is important to apply that counter pressing. We have to just make life so difficult for them. But make sure we don't overdo it, because that could leave huge gaps that they could penetrate and then, make us concede silly goals, which, we might regret in the end. And then ideally, of course, let's also not concede from set pieces, because we've done enough of that. Didn't against Brighton, more so because we were slightly fortunate when they hit the bar, but still, let's not do that again, ideally. And then my score prediction is going to be a 3-1 win. But I don't actually think it will be as much of an easy game as that score line, I guess, might make it sound. Like, I don't think it will be an easy game at all. Wouldn't be surprised with a 2-1. Wouldn't be surprised with... Well, I would be surprised with a 1-0, because I know we kept one against Brighton, but I'm not expecting a clean sheet. But we just need to get that win. That's all that matters. Whether we win 2-1, 1-0, 7-0, doesn't really matter. We need to get that win tomorrow, because, of course, it is always better to top your Champions League group, and that still has to be done. But yeah, to be honest, guys, that really has been it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please be sure to smash that like button. Like I said in the beginning, if you're here already, especially if you made it this far, you're one of the OGs. You're one of the not just OGs, one of the Gs, really. So if you made it this far, please just go down below and smash that like button. That would be massively appreciated. Also, make sure you subscribe to Blues TV if you haven't already, and click the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads, so you don't miss any of our future videos. And of course, yeah, I'm just looking forward to the game. That's been it from me. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you when I see you.